Here we are, another episode of the Plus Ones, and this week I got the absolute honour of introducing Mr. Sam Kane, and I'm super grateful, mate, because really you're not a plus one, because
well, I've got another half, so I kind of.
Yeah,
it depends who's out.
Yeah, but the tradition of the plus one is that we're the kind of lesser known, but you're actually a standalone, you're a star in your own right, so
thanks, pal.
I think it's I think it's lovely of you to come on, because it's it's a thing to a lovely thing to do, I think, to come on something like this. And,
well, as you know, James, I know my place. and it is in the shadows. This is not a face for TV. I found that out 20 years ago.
So let us know, who is your lovely partner anyway?
My wife is Linda Lusardi.
Oh, get in, son.
Yeah, I did.
And I've got to ask you, boom, straight away. I've got to go in, because you told me this story a while ago, and I need you to tell again the dream that you had, and the guy that you met that you were going to, so the guy that you said you were going to marry, tell us the story of that, because this is a good one.
I'll try and abridge it as much as I can. I, like your good wife, I've been singing for most of my life. I've kind of put the microphone down now, but years ago I was working on a cruise ship as a young singer, and me and the MD, Paul Long, his name is, from Doncaster, were chatting one drunken evening and talking about who our dream women were. And it just so happened that one of our dancers was the living image, like doppelganger, of his dream woman, which was Joanna Lumley. He was in love with Joanna Lumley. And I said, well, have a word with Sue, because she was like, honestly, it's almost like could be a daughter. So, and this guy looked like Buddy Holly. So he did, in normal circumstances, wouldn't have a snowball in hell's chance. But on a ship, there's very few options, right? so the girls end up always having to plumb for something less than they would normally. And this girl was stunning from head to toe. Wow. Legs right up to her ears, which looked weird, but there you go. Anyway, he goes up to her in his dong. So, Sue, do you fancy going? Can I take you for a drink? Oh, yeah, okay. So he nearly shits himself, right? Because she said yes. And everything goes fine, and he ends up having a little relationship with Sue. So, going back to the conversation, he says Joanna Lumley, so that happens, as I've just explained. And he said, what about you? I went, mine's easy. I'm going to marry this woman. He went, who? I said, Linda Lusardi. I'm going to marry Linda Lusardi. He went, bollocks, not a chance.
And how many years ago was this?
Well, this was probably about, what are we now? We've been together 27 years, so you're probably looking about 35 years ago.
Wow, okay.
So he says, no, it couldn't have been 35 years. I would have been 15 or 16 then, about 30 years ago.
Right, okay.
So years go down the line. 20 years later, I get on a cruise ship, and there's Paul playing in the band, still doing the same thing. And he says to me, you bastard, you did it, didn't you? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He went, you married your dream woman. I went, well, I told you, mate.
I'm telling you.
Set your goals high, set them high and go for it.
That is amazing. It's weird because I think when I always thought I'd be with someone who wasn't in the normal kind of, well, I don't know what it was, but there's a few things in my life that I've gone, like you've put it out there, and I didn't realise then, like when I was younger, I didn't realise what I was doing, but I think you've been more in tune with that, your life.
Well, I don't know, James, I tend to disagree a bit with you, because I saw you immediately when I met you.
Yeah.
I knew who you were. I know that sounds really odd and a little bit wanky and stuff, but the moment I met you, we became friends immediately.
We did.
In the seconds, we've been together all our lives. Yeah. It's the oddest thing, because I think birds of a feather and all that, you know. And subliminally, I was the same as you. I was doing all this stuff, and odd things was happening all my life, and I was thinking, this is a bit weird. And then you kind of get in tune with it. You go, hang on a second, there's a bit more to this than just me making decisions or random happenings. I keep asking for things, and they just keep happening.
When did you realise? Because I didn't realise until probably my 30s that there was a correlation in that. I didn't realise that, if you think things, you think the positive things, and you put it out there, and you still got to do something to get towards there. You can't just be like,
it's not prerequisite, is it?
Yeah, exactly. But I think mine was my 30s. When did you realise?
Really early.
Really?
Yeah, from a kid. I just knew I was brought up in the wrong place. When you stand somewhere and you just think, okay, this is home, and I get it. And I'm from a big family. I've got 5 brothers and 2 sisters and a mum and dad in a 3-bedroom, terraced house in Liverpool. I just always felt like there's something else. There's something more than this. Always had dreams outside of that, and just and got condemned massively for it, you know, because I was thinking there's something more than this, you know, and there always is something more. There's something different. It doesn't mean that it's better per se. It's just, you know, my horizons were much wider. Working in pubs as well, James, you'd see the same people sitting down in the pub and the same day, and I worked as a barman while I was going through college, and then 30 years later I go back just to say hello to people, and it's the same people sat in the same place. You're thinking, listen, it's horses for courses, isn't it?
It is, and you're right, and I don't think that, like, if people are happy doing exactly. that, great. And you're right. I was exactly the same way. That I always had big ideas, you know, but I didn't know, and I've still got big ideas. I still haven't achieved any of them, but you know, I'm working towards it every day. But I had big ideas when I was young, and I thought it was just me being cocky and, like, you know, I used to say, for instance, I'll be back in London, because I was born in Norwich, moved to London, moved back to Norwich, and then moved to London again, you know. But when I was in Norwich, I was like, I'm going to be back in London before I'm 25. Like,
well, it's
no
exactly
idea. And I was a right little scumbag, you know, as well. So I had no idea, proper, you know, like no chance of doing it ever. And 24, I was back in London, you know. So, and it's so random.
It's the drive, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I didn't put two and two together. I just thought I was saying stuff or doing stuff, and it didn't, you know. And I wasn't aware of it. But like you, I wanted more, and I knew that there was more for me. A council estate boy. I knew that wasn't my life. You know, my mum had ruched curtains in our. You know, we were posh. Yeah. You know, and on the council
estate. Used to get out of the bath for a piss.
No.
All right. Not that posh.
I'd wait for my sister to get in as well.
Doing the sponge and ringing out.
I still do that. No, I know. Yeah, so it's mad. It's like, it is a mad...
Yeah. And it's weird, you know, it's not decrying any of that, because, you know, there's somebody for everywhere and everything, and, you know, it was just, I always, like you, just had bigger ideas. I remember my mother saying to me, when I was, as I was growing up, you know, my mum was gone now, God bless her, she'd say to me, the first thing, she said, I always asked you what you wanted to be, and you always said, I want to be a group, I wanted to be in a band, I want to be a singer, I want to be on stage. And as long as I can remember, I always knew that was what I was going to do. Kind of lost my way a few years going through school, you know, that kind of formation years when you're going through your teen years and things like that. And then, God knows, it's the universe or whatever it is, just ends up putting you back on your track. And the weirdest things put me back on that track to where I needed to go.
Well, take us back to that then. Tell us a bit about, you know, obviously growing up, you grew up in Liverpool. Yeah. Tough.
Yeah.
Tough, you know, it was a tough place.
Well, from a big family, you know, I mean, I'm the youngest boy of 6 lads, you know, and I've got an older sister and a younger sister, so... You know, I'd go to bed early because I was the youngest, and there's 5 years between me and my next oldest brother. So they were like a separate family from me and my older sister, my younger sister. So I'd go to bed and I'd pull the blanket over me, I'd have a pillow. The next morning I'd wake up and have no pillow and no blanket. It was like, literally was first up, best dressed in our house. You know, whoever got to the food first got the best fed. It was survival of the fittest, you know. It sounds extreme, you know, but we were all taken care of. But just had a different path than all of them.
Yeah,
went into showbiz, and it was just the weirdest thing because got battered for it as well, absolutely hammered. Anyway,
it wasn't probably the career of choice for a young boy in Liverpool. Go and dance the fandango and like.
You can imagine, can't you? You know, builders, taxi drivers, roofers, and lorry drivers, and me in an all-in-one cat suit. And a jockstrap doing step ball changes across
in it. So what is that? So how did you start off? What was your route in then? Because you know that wasn't an easy. Because obviously your parents weren't from that background, were they?
Nobody, no.
So for you to forge that path, how did you do it? What was your route? What did you know?
I bring it back to that initial like growing up thing as being a baby of going, that's what I want to do. Before I could talk properly. And this is only my mother telling me this. Apparently I knew all the words to Don McLean's American Pie, which is one of the longest songs in the history of music, you know, but I knew every lyric to it. And my mother used to look at me going, what the hell? How does it? So it's always been there. And then like when I was about 9, I picked up a guitar and started playing a guitar, and I could just literally figure out tunes. It's just the way your brain works, isn't it? Then in school, this was what really kind of clicked me back into it. Around about 14, 15, they brought drama into the curriculum. And the first play was A Christmas Carol. So we did the class and stuff like that. And the teacher was saying to me, You take the lead on this. So I'd always be brought to the front of the class. And towards the back end of the year, I was taking the class, which was really odd because the teacher was saying, well, you know more about this than me. And I'm going, well, I don't know anything about it. It's just obviously you've got a gift for it. So
did you love it? Did you love that?
I loved it.
That part? Yeah, you loved being the center of attention. It was, it was a good thing.
It was odd because I was very sporty. I was one of those pain in the arse kids
annoying
that was good at everything.
I hate you for
I was
that.
like captain of the football team, and I was great
really
at everything.
Tall,
but I was
really tall, good looking, annoying. It's just annoying me.
Tiny cock.
Fine.
Though. Tiny cock. Micro penis. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
I'm kidding, mate.
I'm kidding. Have a look at this.
Know what I mean?
No, it's
I just love holding an apple.
Well, you had to be, coming from that family, you either had to just get off your arse and do something, or just fall by the wayside. And I've always been a mucker in, and I want to learn and I want to get better constantly at what I do. So doing that play in school, when all of a sudden I was never one of the cool kids because I never had all the fancy gear, but I was never one of the dorky kids. I was somewhere down the middle, and never got the good looking girl. Always struggled to get a girlfriend. Made up for it in the end, getting. And that play, A Christmas Carol, changed everything. A mate of mine who I grew up with went to a theatre school in Liverpool, and he was just lived over the road from me. We grew up as kids, and he was the year above me, so he went the year before, and he told me about this college and where he's going, and I said, I'm going there. That's where I need to be. So that's what I mean with the sign just coming back and dragging you back on course. Yeah. And after that was it. That was it. Everything. And because I could sing, I couldn't dance at that point. I couldn't put two steps together. But I went to college, and boys were so hard to find to be dancers. So I was like put the front every single time because I picked everything up pretty quickly. Struggled though, pulled both my hamstrings. Playing football all your life, so your muscles go that way, and then you go into ballet dance and all your muscles go that way.
Yeah.
Oh God, I was on crutches most of my dancing career.
And you're tall as well. Were you obviously tall back then? Were you a tall kid? You didn't like do a spurt when you were No,
I had a spurt of growth when I was 23. So.
Never.
When I was 16, I went to college. So I was like 6'1" till I was 21, maybe 6'2", and then up to after 21, I grew another 2 inches.
That's weird. Yeah. So there's hope for me then.
Yeah, there's always hope, mate. There's always hope.
Good. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
I will caveat there may be a bracket with the word false between the two curves, but there is hope.
Bang out of order. It just crushed me. Crushed me again.
You are perfectly formed, though. Yeah. I mean, you are. You just want to put you on the mantelpiece. You're like the Oscar, right? You're like
I'll put you in your pocket.
Beautifully formed.
We were talking before about just making everyone wear the same shirt as me every time. And we were saying this same shirt, same size, everything. Might not work so well.
I'll tell you what, though, we were talking about something you said I must bring up. And there's a good chance that this could have something to do with it. I don't know how far they're gone. Have you heard about this Elon Musk thing?
You said about it. Yeah, I really want to know. So it was talking on Joe Rogan's show, yeah?
I didn't see it. All I know is what my son has told me. And it's blowing his mind. Because apparently they created this chip that goes into the brain that connects with the synapses and the electrodes in the brain, however that works. God knows the vernacular. Mm-hmm. But it effectively gives you Google in your head. So you can access everything. So there'll be no more language barrier. There'll be no more pain. You apparently can live stream what you're seeing. I mean, it can get rid of if you're addicted to something. It can get rid of pain because pain is only a state of mind. The things that they're saying, that they're purporting that this thing can do, I think ethically and morally, I think some of but you say that it's like the
I'm in.
It's like the Incredibles, isn't it? If everybody's special, nobody's special.
I don't care. Let's make it a level playing field.
But what about humanity? No, there's no difference because everybody knows. Then there's got to be, and that's what I was saying. There's got to be some level of, there's your personality. You're only a product of what you're born with in your DNA and your memories, the things that you learn over your life. That's what makes you who you are.
I'm still in though. Yeah. I want
a sat nav would be easier. Sat nav would be easier. You'll never be short of something to say.
If you're under 25, you've never read a map, I would say.
Yeah, I'll have
that.
Unless you're in the army,
yeah, probably now.
Yeah.
And I'm not just being mean to because I'm not. But if you're over 25, you know what a map is. And
my son doesn't know how to get from our house to the local shop without putting the sat nav on. He is utterly useless.
Back in the day, if anyone is young and they're listening to this, in your car you had a map that literally filled the inside of your car, and you had to navigate with this thing.
Well, it was called an A to Z. Yeah. And every street within that town from A to Z was on the map.
You had to, and then you had to try and fold it into the bit that you wanted, and then it'd be like it'd be insane trying to drive. I would literally drive and then be looking at my A to Z.
Yeah.
Like, how is that?
I mean, it's. They say there's a lot of accidents now when you're on your mobile phone. Mate, when you're reading an atlas.
You were trying to read an atlas before,
G4 on page 47.
What was that all about? How was that a good idea?
So now put yourself in my life. So I'm doing the working men's clubs at the age of 19 with a PA and the microphones and backing tracks in the car, trying to find a club in the middle of God knows where. All I do is get myself to the general area and then just ask people. Who invariably, you'd have to get there at least 3 hours before to guarantee yourself an hour to set up and do the gig.
Because you'd get lost a bit.
I mean, I was laughing the other day. I remember some fella saying to me, I said to him, can you tell me where such and such a club is? He went, oh yeah, mate. He said, go to the end of the road, turn left, and then turn right where the church used to be.
It used to be.
Well,
so
exactly.
So what is there now then?
How do I
See,
know
the problem is with directions, right? Someone will go to me, right, okay, so we go into a shop. I go in with Bev, and I ask someone. I go, okay, where's that? And they go, so it's there, and I'm already walking.
Yeah.
And Bev's like, stop, just wait. And I'm already walking. And as soon as they go, right, turn right there. After that first one, I'm lost. I've gone. I've switched off.
You know what that is, don't you?
Yeah, I'm thick
You're
as
an
shit.
idiot,
Yeah. Those two things together, I'm thick as shit and an idiot. They don't bode well for directions.
And by the way, go right. No, that's your left arm.
Exactly, yeah. I'm all right with left and right. Maybe I need an A to Z in a shop. No. Yeah, so, those things.
It's exceptionally confusing.
I am thinking about that chip thing in the head. Is that going to make everyone be able to do everything then as well?
Pretty much,
You'd be able to sing, you'd be able to dance, you'd be able to do everything.
Well, this is a conversation I had last night again with my son. I said, so if you can then chip it in, like the movies do, and all of a sudden you're an expert at martial arts.
Yeah.
He said, well, that's all well and good, but they've trained for years and years and years to make their ligaments and their muscles form in a certain way. Yeah. You're not just going to immediately be able to kick your leg and do the splits.
Well, you will, because your brain will tell you can.
No, your muscles are not. Yeah, your muscles are something different. It's like me. I feel like I can still, bench press 60 kilos, but my body's not having it. It doesn't make you stronger because it can't be how it works.
The Navy SEALs, they say that, I was just saying this to Jay earlier, they say that when you go through, when your body goes to the point of no return, that you say is no return, you're only at 40%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did panto as odd as it sounds as an analogy. Gareth Thomas.
Those tights are... They are chafing though, aren't they? They do chafe.
Yeah,
but you quite like that, didn't you?
Yeah, that's a good thing for me. I like a bit of chafage. Of course, I don't. Nobody likes that. I've gone to the point of wearing women's clothes now at Christmas, which is that's not a happy thing. Fishnets are not good. The old your arse looks like a waffle when you take them off. So Gareth Thomas is a well-known...
I can never unsee that in my mind now. It's like, sorry about that, everyone. We're like, I might cut that out just so no one has to think about that. Go on. So
what was I saying? I was talking about Gareth Thomas. He's was a Welsh international rugby player.
Yeah, amazing.
And he's like a different species.
Yeah.
So he stood next to me. He's playing the genie in Aladdin.
Right.
And all he's got is like a loincloth. And he's just like an alien stood next to me. He's just a muscle with a ginger head. Yeah, that's all he is. And
what an amazing guy.
He said, he's brilliant. Yeah. He said to me that when they were training, because I was asking him about the physicality of how, what they put you through. He said, they wait for you to vomit with the training. He said, and that's when they start to push you.
Yeah.
So when you've got to the point that you're throwing up with fatigue,
Yeah.
they say, okay, now the training begins. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Exactly the same when I was training, when I was an MMA fighter. It was, we talk about it, the training, like you touching the curtain. You want to push through the envelope of where you can't mentally you can't think you go anymore. Physically you do all that, and then then they bring in fresh sparring partners, and you have to go for like another 20 minutes. It's not fun.
No, it's
well,
not
it
fun.
kind of was. I did quite like it. Oddly, getting punched in the face.
Yeah, that isn't normal.
I know. I don't know why. I do miss getting punched in the face.
I can punch you.
I know, yeah, and I'm sure there'll be quite a lot of people listening that probably want to punch me in the face. And it's like I want to punch myself in the face sometimes.
Mate, I'm married to Linda Lusardi. I'm constantly wanted to be punched in the face. Do you know what question I get asked most?
Go on.
How? That's what I get asked.
What's the worst? You've told me before. Like, what's the worst thing someone said to you? There was a story you told me, and I can't remember what it was. But
some
about
prick came up to me and he went to me. He said, "Where the fuck?" I can't even remember where we were. So I'm just going to pick a generic northern accent because I'm from the north. He went, "Hey mate, you're married to Linda Lusardi, aren't you?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "I've had a wank over your missus." And I went, "Well, mate, I'll tell you, that's great for you. I can actually wank over my missus." So, I mean, what response can you give to that?
I don't know.
There was a point where I did, and this sounds quite abrasive and aggressive. When you're a big bloke, it's hard because people want to pick on you because you're big, so they want to try and hit the big bloke.
Yeah.
But that goes the same way. When someone's horrendous to your wife, and if you pick on them, all of a sudden you become the bully. People are allowed to do whatever they want to you, but you can't have any recourse. But bollocks to that. They can say what they want to me, but if they say it about me missus, they're going to get a smack in the teeth.
It is hard, and that's one of the things that I talk about on this is the protectiveness. Do you, because your partner's in the spotlight, do you feel, are you more protective of her? And that, because that's quite a different dynamic. You see him on stage, you see him doing, like when I see. So it's weird when Bev's doing her own show, when she's singing, I don't really get nervous. When she's doing a theatre show, I get nervous, and the way that nervous energy comes out is through anger. So I sit there angry, like that. I'm sitting there looking at people.
Remind me never to go and watch a show with you.
Dude, it's not right. There's definitely something not right.
Why do you get angry? Because it's out of your control.
No, well, I think it is, but it's like if I'm sitting there thinking anyone say anything, like as if anyone's going to say anything negative or something. I'm like, just say something. I'm like,
James,
like,
I know exactly how you feel.
It's not right though, but
no, it's not.
But it's my protectiveness going. I want to protect her from like negative comment or anything, and if I, I'm like, I'll fucking find you. Say anything nasty, I'll find you.
Yeah, we got a lot of it over coronavirus, and I wanted to kill people.
Yeah,
wanted to kill people.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly what you're saying.
It's mad. It's a mad.
Well, it's because we're not allowed to be open about masculinity anymore, but it's because of who you are. It's our DNA as males. It's we're an animal, and we're supposed to protect the things we love because that's the law of nature. Because if you don't, things end up getting killed, and there's natural selection and all that. But you've got to look after them. You have to look after them.
And they don't, not that they're like some little frail women that need looking after, because they're not. Because I wouldn't want a right hand off my wife, and I do call her the lioness. Because
she's strong, man.
She's not only strong, she's got, and this is what a lot of people don't know about her, she's got like a mental toughness that is quiet, but if someone attacked me, for instance, in the street and she was there, she'd like literally, don't worry about me, worry about her. She'd be like, she's like a velociraptor come in, you know what I mean, where you can't see.
But it's the same flip. You've just explained exactly the same thing. It's that paternal maternal instinct that we've all got, whether you've got kids or not, it's always there. I'm certain it is.
And you got 2 kids.
Well, they're not kids anymore. Lucy's 23 and Jack's 20, and both incredibly talented. A mate of mine said to me a while back, which has stuck with me, great phrase. We were talking about families, he's a very family orientated guy like me, and he just said there's one thing you can't fake, and it's your kids. And they're brilliant. They're the nicest people I know. So we did something right. Yeah,
that's nice. That is nice. Are they going into the same industries?
Yeah, Lucy's she's just released her first single. It's a cover, but not a very well-known song called Bones. So she just released that. So
amazing.
Do us a favour, mate, and get it on. It's on all streaming.
And what's her name?
Lucy Kane.
There you go. Come on, people.
Incredible.
Get involved.
79 pence. Come on, sort your life out. That's all we want. Stream it on constant loop.
What about the boy?
Jack's an actor.
Yeah.
I've got a great story about Jack. Jack's brilliant. So Jack goes for an audition for an obscure movie. An independent movie. He's playing a young 17-year-old. He's been told for the interview. And this is my version of the story. Apparently, I always get it wrong, but this is... Never let the truth get in the way.
If Linda was here, you'd be like me and Bev. Well, no, that didn't. And then you'd have to...
that was what I saw. You mind your own business. You tell your version. I was asked to tell mine. What is that?
I love it.
That didn't shut your face.
But I love that about being with someone for a while. You just literally like when you're telling a story, no, that, and then you have to have your own bits. Me and Bev are the same. We have our own bits of stories. That no, I have to tell this bit.
It was always better in my head. Always better. So he goes in and he's got to read this scene with this apparently 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Now they go to Spotlight, which is the home of casting in Leicester Square.
Okay.
And on every floor there's like 5 or 6 rooms and an open like court area where everybody sits in the waiting room.
Right, okay.
And the rooms are around the outside of the waiting places. So he's the only guy in this waiting area. There's 2 girls and 4 doors. This guy comes out and he says, Jack. So Jack is his name. He stands up and he follows this guy in. And immediately as he's walking in, for any of those people listening to this who've never been to an audition before, you are shitting yourself. You've done all your preparation. All you want to do is remember your lines. You get immediate memory loss because everything you don't want to happen kicks into gear. And all those, you're talking about that extra going through the curtain. This is why I think, Bev gets that kind of, that mentality of she can go through anything when she's doing it because of all the knockbacks you get in showbiz. Yeah. So he walks in and immediately our side of the table, as he walks into the room, which he knows is the girl he's going to be acting with, is a 70-year-old woman. So he's thinking, oh shit, I've read it wrong. It must have been a typo. I thought it was 17. She's 70. So he's trying to transpose everything he's learned now in the scene into making it work for a 70 as opposed to a 17-year-old. While he's going, hi, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. Great to meet you. Yeah, Jack. Yeah, nice. Oh, how are you? There's like 6 people behind the other side of the desk. And he sits down. And his mouth's getting dry and he's sat there, trying to hold it together and look confident. And the guy says to him, so Jack, it says here you do extreme sports. You do like the black slopes on skiing, downhill skiing. And Jack's going, oh shit, no, this isn't me. Yeah, you do free climbing and you do skydiving and you do all of this like bungee jumping. And Jack's going,
God, don't.
No, I don't do any of that. He said, I do some high diving from the diving board. I've done a bit of that training, but none of what you're saying. I've never dived out of a plane. No, it says here, you do all of this. You do. And he went, no, that's not me. I don't. He said, are you not Jack Pavinsky? He went, oh, thank you, God. No, I'm not. I'm Jack Kane. And he went, oh, well, what are you auditioning for? So he explains and they're all laughing and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, as he's on his way out the room and everything's forgotten and he's happy now, he's in the wrong place. A woman behind the table who was a producer said, Jack, I've been trying to cast something for like 18 months and you look like you could be him. Would you leave your details in and come and read for me? And he went, yeah, sure. So he goes in a couple of days later and he reads for this part, doesn't know what he's reading for. The American's behind the desk and he reads it and they say, Jack is brilliant. We'd like to offer you the role.
What?
Because that never happens. When you audition, you go away, they deliberate, they talk to your agent, they ask you to come back. There's a whole palaver that goes to auditioning. So they're there and they offer him the job right there and he goes, well, like that ever happens. He said, yeah, we'd like to offer you the role. He went, what's the role? He went, oh, of course you don't know what the role is, of course. And he went, yeah, you play the lead in a Universal Pictures movie. We're making it. We fly to Romania next month and you're the lead guy. It's called Dragonheart Vengeance. He went,
excuse me?
What, you're going to be what? And he went, yeah, you're the lead. So a month later, he was like, he's like a movie star. Just from going in the wrong room.
When was this?
This was back end of last year. And he's filmed it. It's all done. It's out on Netflix now. And there was a franchise called Dragonheart. The first one was Sean Connery was the dragon. The voice of his dragon was Helena Bonham Carter. It's great fun.
What?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right.
He's done well. So his mum and dad are... So Lucy's releasing songs, right? Jack's making movies.
Did he get paid well?
Yeah, he got paid handsomely, yeah. Listen, mate, my kids are my pension. Yes. This is brilliant. We've invested well.
Pimping them out.
But they're just so brilliant.
Oh, mate, that is unbelievable. Brilliant. Well done.
Yeah, they're doing well.
Annoying. Good genes, you see.
Do you know what I love about both of them, though? You would never know they were in show business.
No, I've only met your daughter.
Yeah.
I haven't met your son, so it'd be not. Yeah. But she's lovely. She seems proper grounded and that. And
they're great kids.
Well, you guys, you guys. Yeah, you guys are grounded. It's like, I think that's
a job, James, isn't it? It's the same as Bev. You'd never know if you didn't know.
Do you know what's really weird? We since the lockdown. And we'll talk about that in a minute, and we'll talk about the other bits of lockdown and all that. But because she hasn't but I haven't seen her on TV or like on the radio. You know, it's been a bit weird. And I haven't seen her on stage. I forget sometimes what she does. And then, for instance, this morning I heard her on the radio, and I'm like, and it just makes me so happy. And I'm like,
she's brilliant.
It just, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what Bev does, you know. And it's like, it's weird. It's just
because
weird...
you know, I mean, to do that job, it's really extraordinary, isn't it? When you think of what you do and you throw yourself to the lions.
Yeah.
It sounds extreme, but you know, you need a lot of confidence. And I still believe that everybody sets foot on stage. There's obviously an exception to every rule, but everybody that sets on stage is riddled with insecurity. Because when you go on there, you're never really yourself. It's always a version of you or a heightened version. And when you can fake that sincerity, and that's probably too extreme, when you can maintain that sincerity and get over those nerves and become yourself up there, I think that's when it really, you know, you really sort out the men from the boys. It's an amazing job. It's an incredible thing. Whenever I've been up there, James, I've never done it for the adoration of what's there. I just love doing it. And it's an old cliche, isn't it? Anyone that's in show business always started and did it for free because you just love doing it.
Yeah.
And then when you started making money, that became your job, and that's what you did, you know. I remember going to a charity event one time, and Bobby Davro, of all people, was up on the floor, and I'm sat literally on the edge of the floor on the table in this charity event in a big place in down in London, in what's the name of that road? Park Lane. So one of the big hotels.
Grosvenor.
One of the big hotels on the Hilton, one of those.
Yeah.
And I'm sat on the edge of the floor, so there's like nothing between me and the band. There's only Bobby doing his act, right? And I've sang forever, and Bobby knows what I do, and we're friends, and blah, blah, blah. And Bobby's not going very well. So he looks at me, and I go, oh, fuck, here we go. And I know, because he's looked at me, because I know Bobby, I know in a second I'm going to get dragged up. Now, when I'm not on stage, the last place I want to be is on stage.
Right.
I don't ever want to be in show business. It's just my job.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I you know, it's something I put everything into, but that's just him. He does that, the guy with the shiny suits. I'm the guy that drives the guy with the shiny suit to work, right? And then he turns up and does what he does. So Bobby says to me, oh, ladies and gentlemen, got a mate of mine, he's going to come up, Mr. Sam Kane. I've gone, Bobby, no. He's gone, oh, come on, Sam. Right, and as soon as they get you, you're knackered. There's no way you can get out of it.
Yeah, I know.
Because I've gone, oh, Bobby, please. And I thought, there's only one way, and it's if he lets me off. Right, and I've gone, Bob, please, no, I don't want to go. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, what about this? Bob, he won't get up.
There you go.
So all of a sudden, I'm the arsehole. Right?
Yeah.
Fuck. So I've got to get up.
Yeah.
So he says to me, so up I get, and I don't know what we're doing. I have got no idea, because none of this is rehearsed.
Yeah.
I've just turned up for a night. I'm going to have a bit of dinner, have a night off, have a little bit of a drink, get a car home, happy days. So what we doing? He went, I don't know. So this is like microphones now. What we do? I don't know. Play That's Live. Do you know That's Live? It's a fucking good job. I do then, Bob, innit, really? So we start doing it, and we're singing and blah, blah. And if you're a singer, you know how to sing.
Yeah.
If you're a singer, you've probably sang harmonies at some point in your life, and, you know, you learn this stuff as you go along. Yeah. So we start singing, and I join in, and he's giving me the nod. And
can he sing? I didn't even know, Bob, can he sing?
Bob's a great singer.
Is he? Do you know, it's weird, a lot of comedians...
Yeah, but don't forget, Bobby did all those impressions, didn't he, back in the 80s?
Yeah, it's just that Bev says about that. She's good at it, like different voices and stuff. Yeah. It must be just that ear you can just...
I think, yeah.
I don't know what it is.
There's certain things with singers because they mimic. Yeah. You know, unless you've gone on your own path. You know, Bev's... I don't know much about Bev's history, to be honest with you. There's no such thing as an overnight success, is there? You work your nuts off till you get there.
She did what you did, go through all the...
So she's done all the drama, all the stuff, so she's mimicked pretty much everything and played a load of parts, musical theatre, I'm guessing all that stuff.
From when she was young, so she did musical theatre right through her childhood till college, and I think uni is maybe not uni, but college, and then stopped when her musical, you know, like her... She just wanted to be a singer, she thought, and then obviously however many years ago now, the musical theatre stuff started up. So
the odd thing about all of that is the fact that when you're a singer singing other people's songs, other people want to hear that song the way they know it. So you end up mimicking their version of the song. So you never really find your own identity. You know, but what Bev did, she went, no, I've had enough of that. I've got to fixate. I've got to get my path and sort it out. And you know, and then she became, you know, the voice that everybody knows. You know, so and you don't become famous until you know. So but with Bobby, he's great. So he did all the great musicians. He did a fantastic Elton John, Gilbert O'Sullivan. Bobby's an incredible impressionist.
Right.
Incredible impressionist. So we sing this song. And then we harmonise, and he's giving me the nod. So it looked like we're two professionals up there doing what they do. And I go for a pee straight after because I don't want to get collared again. So I go right out the room. So there's no way I'm getting on.
Yeah.
And some fella come in the room and went, yeah, like that wasn't fucking rehearsed. And I went, no, mate, it wasn't. And he went, yeah, like you can just get up and do that. And that's the thing, you know what I'm saying about, you know, you're talking about what we do when we get up there and how much you can just switch it on. It's watching Linda having a photo taken.
Yeah.
When you watch a camera in front of Linda and she just strikes a pose, you go, Jesus Christ, there she is.
Man, she's been doing it when did she first do?
Well, she was 18. She's 62 next month.
Mate, and by the way, if anyone hasn't seen Linda, go to, what magazine was it?
Best magazine she was in
Best
recently,
magazine. She's looking amazing. Yeah, so go and have a look, go and buy it, and it is amazing. And she is an amazing human being, but beautiful as well. So yeah, you're a lucky man.
Oh, I lucked out.
Yeah.
I lucked out. I look older than she does now.
So she was 18. Don't silly bit.
She was 18. Yeah, there's 10 years between us. You know the story of Dorian Gray, don't you, with the attic, the portrait in the attic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking for the portrait. It's got to be up there somewhere. She just never ages. I'll be honest, it's beginning to really piss me off.
Yeah.
Because the weird thing is as well, James, this is talking about your own ego now, right? Okay, so to get up there, you've got to have a level of an ego because that's, you know, it's standing up in a spotlight, for Christ's sake. When I walk past the mirror now, I see my dad. Now, I'm used to like doing musical theatre and things like that, you know, and television and what have you. And wherever you go, there's a picture of you, you know, looking your best. So all I see is like images of me dart around. My son said to me, because he came on tour for me for a little while, he went, Dad, is there like pictures of you everywhere? Because obviously they're only in the town you go into, aren't they? Because every time you turn to a new town, there's posters of you everywhere. Yeah. And I went, no, that's what I explained to him. So that's the me I'm used to seeing. Yeah. That, you know, that fella on a poster. Yeah. And then I look in the mirror and there's just this old bloke looking back at me now. And I'm like,
not at all.
Jesus.
I remember, I think the biggest memory I have of you, obviously your look, was I was on, not Emmerdale, was it Emmerdale? No,
Brookside was
Brookside, where you were the hairdresser, weren't you?
Yeah.
You were the gay hairdresser.
He was never gay.
You were.
He was effeminate.
You were the effeminate hairdresser.
Not that that's a negative. I'm just telling you the character.
And that was in them days, mate. That was bold, and you kind of got a bit of grief from that as well, didn't you?
Oh, I got a nightmare. Yeah. I had a nightmare.
Because you were like, I mean, you know, what are you, 6'4"?
6'4".
You know, big guy. You had like amazing hair as well, like, you know,
like the Lion King.
You did. You had like proper like. I think mine's a bit of a bouffant at the moment, but you had a good bouffant as well.
It was a proper mullet. Yeah, it was a proper long hair.
It was like a sexy mullet and like a leather jacket, and you know, like you were a dude, man.
Well, I auditioned for a part that the breakdown of the part was my agent said they're looking for a young. This is what it said. This is not me. It said they're looking for a young, good-looking, entrepreneurial type. Right, he's a businessman. He's a mover and a shaker. Okay. So I go in and I read for it, and I go home, and my agent calls me and said they didn't think you were quite right for it. I went, oh, they said you read really well. I went, okay, you got to take the positives out of this. The audition was good. I just wasn't what they were looking for. My agent phoned me back the next day and said they want you to go back in and read for the gay hairdresser. What? Yeah.
Did you turn up in a Peugeot 205 GTI?
No,
is that what I? No, sorry. Yeah.
It was long before the Audi TT was out.
XR3i convertible.
Hiya, how are you?
All right, love.
I've just come to do your roots.
Yeah.
No. So I turned up and they said, okay, we want you to read it quite effeminate, but do me a favour because we're going to give you an episode, right? And I went, because don't forget, I'd already auditioned, so they'd seen me act. They just said they want you to play it quite effeminate. Yeah. And I went, is he gay? And they went, we don't know yet. Just play it just slightly effeminate. Think, you know, archetypal, you know, the stereotypical hairdresser. And I went, okay. I mean, this was before any political correctness. Yeah. So I go into the wardrobe department, and the head of wardrobe there his name was Alex McGregor. And Alex came in and he went, hiya Sam, how are you, mate? He said, I've got a couple of things for you, just try those on, they look lovely. Right, so I've gone, okay, that's my character. I've gone, happy days, that's how I'm playing. So I've gone in, I've played the part, and I've gone, oh, hiya, my name's Peter, I'm the hairdresser. Right, and the weird thing was, we go 2 years down the line, and Alex McGregor comes in, and I'd had this conversation with one of the other actresses in the show, just literally days before. He went, Sam, can I ask you a question? And I went, yeah. He went, you know your character? I went, yeah. He went, did you base that on anyone? And I've gone, yeah, mate, I did, yeah. And he went, please tell me it's not me, because there's no way I'm as camp as you are.
I love it.
And I went, yeah, mate. I said, look, I've embellished it a bit, yeah. And obviously, he was
bless him.
campus tits, the fella, but it was brilliant. He was a brilliant character. But, you kind of, you got to pick those little bits of real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, Jesus Christ, I took a lot of grief. Because they never told me.
It was filmed up there as well, wasn't it?
It was all filmed in Liverpool,
was filmed, yeah.
Do you know the irony of that, James? So I auditioned for Brookside. It's the Christmas after I'd done panto with Linda, which is where we met. So we met in Darlington, did a panto together there, and kind of fell in love over the next year,
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Both going through relationships. She was going through divorce. I was going through a relationship. I was engaged.
Right.
And we became like the best mates throughout that year. So as an unknown actor playing like the handsome prince next to Linda Lusardi playing Snow White, that summer I got the audition for Brookside, and 2 days before I got offered the part, I moved from Liverpool, which was 10 minutes. I could walk to work, and I moved to London, so my commute was just typical. But you see, there's ups and there's downs.
How long were you in Brookie for?
I think I was
Brookie.
there.
I call it Brookie still.
It's Brookie.
It was Brookie, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was. I think it was about 3.5 years I was there, and I left that. And the first television job I got as an actor again was playing a paedophile in Coronation Street. So it's from one extreme to the other. But the weird thing was, playing that extreme part, they've only just rehashed the whole storyline.
I think I remember that as well.
Well, it was Gail's daughter, Sarah Louise Platt, Tina O'Brien, the actor. She was the girl who I lured into my house. It was the first time any kind of major storyline or any kind of prevalence of internet grooming had started to take place. So they wanted to bring it in the fore.
How many years ago was this?
God, yeah, it was the beginning of the century, wasn't it? So it was like early 2000s.
God, mate.
Doesn't it seem weird saying that, the beginning of the century?
Do you know, it was
weird,
yeah,
doesn't it?
it's you start to really feel it when you go, 30 years ago. I'm like, 30 years ago, I still remember, I don't remember a lot.
It's the 90s, isn't it? 30 years ago was the 90s.
Exactly, and I was 14, so you think, or 15, and I was out and about. I was out, I was out, getting up to no good, all of that,
Going up on girls.
Yeah. Don't talk about it. Sorry to any of the people who knew me in the past. Sorry. Just like to apologise. This is a good platform just for me to apologise.
This is therapy for you, isn't it? This is like confession for James O'Keefe. How long is it since your last confession? Well, I did another podcast yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, mate. If I can just keep doing this and just and then maybe I'll get somewhere in doing that. Man. Yeah, no, it's
a brave job though. To throw yourself into that, because I didn't think of any ramifications. I had people saying to me, "You sure you want to do this?" And I'm a character actor. This is what I do.
Yeah,
I want to get as far away from who I am as possible.
Yeah,
and make that character real. And geez, I got a lot of grief.
Yeah, I bet.
Got a lot of grief.
Well, you went from getting grief as a gay hairdresser in Liverpool to a paedophile.
No, the opposite. Well, I did get a lot of grief. The amount of homophobia that I received was incredible. So, it's not sympathy; it's absolute empathy for anybody that suffers any kind of negative reaction to whatever it is that you may be. And I'm not a big fan of that.
It's weird though, because often you can only, and I say this about racism.
Yeah.
I'll never experience it, but I feel it. I can't know firsthand what it is, but I can feel it through my wife.
Well, your partner's
the
a black girl.
racism that she's had.
It doesn't get any closer to you.
No, and until you love someone, but you've been in the shoes of someone who wasn't gay, but was getting abused for being gay, and so it's like, because you were playing someone who was, and until you experience it, you can only then empathise with people in a correct way. I think, because it's very difficult to go, I understand about this or that, until you feel it. And that's what a big thing.
But I had the opportunity to turn it off. I didn't have to play that part.
Yeah, exactly.
I could leave that at any point.
Yeah.
And like Linda Lusardi marrying her wasn't a smokescreen.
Yeah.
It was just, I just happened to be a heterosexual white male.
Yeah.
So you can't turn off being black. No. So there's a difference. There's a massive difference.
And it's mad, but you just, and weird back then as well. TV was different. TV was like, everyone believed it.
Yeah.
And that
oh God, they did.
Yeah, that's the difference now. You fast forward 30 years, you watch it and you go, oh, it's a soap.
But you go back just a few years from now.
Back then, it was like, oh my God, this is real people. Like we still call Ian Beale and like, you know, you meet them and you go, oh,
they think it's real.
Yeah.
They know you better than they know their next door neighbour because you're in their house more often than their neighbours.
It's mad.
They really do think it's real. I'll tell you what was really, I didn't really notice this until I moved away from Liverpool, that the Brookside got such a massive black following. And so many more black people from London and all over the country would say, you're from Brookside. And I started questioning why. How come it's like so many black people recognise us from Brookside? It was because it was one of the only TV shows at the time that had a black family.
Yeah, and it was, what's his name? Who was the actor?
Lewis Emmerich.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mick Johnson.
Brilliant.
One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet as well.
Mate.
Super, super close mate.
We were watching a documentary on The Real Thing the other day from Liverpool.
Yeah, the Amu family.
No one knew.
Yeah.
No one knew that they were from Liverpool. Like, hardly anyone.
Oh, well, unless you were from Liverpool.
Yeah, but hardly anyone else, even black people, knew, like, even Bev, till how many years ago, didn't really, you know, when she was young, didn't know that they were English. Everyone thought they were American.
Well, it was at that time, wasn't it? Like the Philly Soul and just at the back end of the Motown.
But it was like, oh, we can't let people know that this black group are like English.
Scousers,
you know, it's like, and that's another thing. I hate that whole thing of a black person can't call themselves English if they were born in England. They have to call themselves British. Yeah.
Oh, mate.
I know.
That's a whole other discussion.
That winds me up. But I'm like, they're English to me. So same as Bev.
Yeah.
She's English to me. But
I
that's
watched an incredible, insightful, just a stunning documentary last night on Netflix. I'm a massive music fan. Massive music fan. And in show business, you are surrounded, I mean, with the ultimate melting pot from everybody to everything and whatever they do and, you know, for everything and everybody. And it was about Quincy Jones. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, mate, you know, when you listen to where he came from the south side of Chicago, and, you know, he got stabbed in the hand when he was a kid, you know, and was cut in the face, and he could have gone down the gang route and stuff, and instead music, he went to this place and there was a piano. He broke into somewhere and there was a piano there, and that was it. His life changed. Like you say, you see it from the other side. He saw it, you know, from his side, from suffering everything that black people have had to go through over the years, and I don't even consider to comprehend it. But that doesn't make me guilty of being a racist, because I'm not a racist.
No.
But I love the fact that my eyes are being opened now.
Yeah.
The fact that it is prevalent enough that the world's going, no, enough now. Yeah. That's it. We've just had enough.
Yeah.
And I think most people, I'm pretty sure the vast majority of people agree, and they stand there. Do you not?
No, they don't.
Well, it depends where you're from, I suppose.
Yeah, it does. And as I say, until you can really experience the difference in how people get treated.
Really?
It's a real difference.
I hate that.
Like when I walk with my wife through an airport and you know how she's being treated differently. You can see it. You can see the way the people look at her, the security, the people checking the passports. They always give her more grief. She's always long. I always let her go first, because if there's any grief, I'm behind her to make sure, you know, because I'll just kick off.
Yeah.
Being white, it don't matter. I'll just kick off. You know, when we go to America, she has to. She really gets funny at the airports.
Oh, it's bad there.
She won't fly to certain airports because they just treat him so bad. So you've got to temper your behaviour and plan your route, because that's to the life of that,
just disgusting.
Welcome to her life, and people like her. That's it, and that's what it's like. And until you see it and until you feel it, like I said, you can never understand it fully. You know, and I didn't understand it at all when I was young. I was from Norwich, where the only black people randomly were two friends of ours. Like, they were in our group, you know, and I wasn't always the most, you know, PC, and, you know, I was an idiot at times, and, you know, I didn't say the right things, but I wasn't around people. And the other thing, my mate at school, who I didn't realise at like 15 was mixed race, but I didn't realise.
Well, you don't see it, do you?
I did, but I kind of did, but there was only him and one other at our school, like, who was of colour, a whole school.
Yeah.
It's like, so I didn't grow up around that.
Oh, Jesus.
You know, but then you do, and then you got to educate and learn, and like anything, it's, you know, but it's.
Well, it's empathising and understanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
And once you get that, then you can...
Yeah.
It's the people. It doesn't matter, does it? You know, and it was funny what Quincy Jones said towards the end
he's
of it.
amazing.
He just said, you know, you're not born with hate.
Yeah.
You have to be taught to hate. So that's, you know...
That's the Quincy. Bev did an amazing Quincy's birthday a few years ago.
Wow, man.
At the O2. Man, can you remember when we used to go to gigs? How bad is that?
It's terrifying.
Do you go to the theatre much?
I go quite a bit, yeah.
Have you missed that? Have you how has that been for you?
Well, it's kind of different for me because, as you know, me and my wife suffered coronavirus, so we were lucky to get through it. So our recovery is still ongoing, really. Yeah. I mean, my voice sounds quite husky now because some days I have a good day.
Which is quite sexy. Yeah,
baby. Where I've got like a deep, excuse me, a dark brown voice, really. But it's, excuse me. Let me have a drink of water.
Yeah, have a drink. But you said earlier that, you know, this is the only one of the only time we're still socially distanced. You know, we're making sure everything's been wiped down. You know, all of that stuff, the microphones, but we're still socially distancing because you said driving over that you were a bit like, oh, this is strange.
Well, I've been out socially twice to meet friends, and that's in their house.
And that's 6 months?
Yeah, since March. And this is the first time I've done anything outside the house where it's not work, is it? But
no.
It's what we do for a living.
Yeah, but it's in front of cameras.
You know,
and
meeting
stuff.
people. Jay, I've never met Jay before, and he's put his hand out, and you can't not shake your hand.
Yeah,
you know, it's just it's the oddest thing. Yeah. But my hands were shaking when I came here. I'll get over that. Of course I will, because you know you just fit back into normal life. But there was a real bit of anxiety about it.
Mad,
what was I saying about getting through the? Oh, so get locked down in theatre and stuff like that. So our recovery was probably. I mean, getting over the initial kind of like we just didn't die thing was 2.5, 3 months. 2.5, 3 months. So our lockdown didn't really start until June. So we're only just kind of like getting into the thick of lockdown, even though lockdown's like kind of finished now. So we're only just kind of getting into the middle of that. So there's a lot of stuff that, although I've continually been working, it does things to you, mate. It messes with your head. You know, you lose your memory. You can't stand up. You can't breathe. You can't eat. You can't exercise. It's just, it's debilitating. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But so the theatre thing, I haven't even really thought about it other than the fact.
You've just been thinking, I need to survive.
I need to survive,
Yeah, and
I need to survive. But the business has been decimated. You know, it's only just now that it's starting to come back.
So tell us what you're up to these days then with that kind of stuff, because you say you've hung up the microphone now. So what are you up to? What are you?
I think if an acting job came back, then I'd jump at it. But it's not something I'm actively seeking, you know. Yeah. There's another plan that I'm following. There's another little kind of thing, you know, the universe and me and what have you, and take it a different direction. It's going really, really well. Being on the other side of things, I've kind of been directing and associate producing for quite some years now, you know, just doing other things on the other side of either the stage or the camera, whatever you want to call it. And I love that. I love that kind of side of things, and also helping other people. So I got into the agency side of things as a job, you know, to keep myself something stable, because show business is so unstable, as we know. It's just literally been lift, stop, pause, there you go. When it comes back, nobody knows. So if you're self-employed, you've got your own business, you're screwed. So that's the category I fell under. So that was what I was doing. I was enabling people to get work, and variety now is completely different because there's nowhere to apply your trade. There's no working men's clubs. The holiday camps are kind of few and far between. So there was everywhere for a singer or an entertainer to go and learn their trade. Now there's nowhere. So with the experience that I've got, having followed that path, I'm okay at teaching people. So I'm good at giving them advice. I can help them find their own character, find a character to play on stage in whatever it may be. So helping people get on stage and do it without any kind of background or run up. So that's what I'm doing now. But like I say, a lot of cruise ship stuff, a lot of variety stuff, haven't come from that part of the world. It's gone.
God, cruise ship's gone. It's gone. Like a whole business model
multi-billion dollar industry
overnight. It's like insane. And
terrifying.
It is terrifying. And it is, I think, you know, this has shown to me that how vulnerable we are, all of us. You know, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You need there needs to be something online that you can have doing, you know, that brings money in. I think everyone nowadays has to try and get something like that set up, because otherwise...
Well, that's what I thought I was doing.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm going to get myself a proper job. I'll work on the agency side of things and producing shows and putting acts together that was selling and storming it out in front of amazing audiences. Cruise ships are the best kept secret in show business because the theatres, you're like 1,200-1,500 seat theatres on these things.
Twice, 3 times a day or something?
Well, depends on how many, they'll do the show twice depending on how many people in the ship, It's... I got on there for the first time and just like, oh, my God, this is something else. I mean, the theatres are better equiped than some of the theatres in the West End. And it's not like a room. I mean, some of the ships have got cabaret rooms, as we, remember them, like in the old days where it was a dance floor and a band. Now it's a proper stage with a proper like multi-tier theatre. Yeah. Incredible things.
They are cocky, them.
Great things to play, mate.
Yeah, I do. We went on a cruise a while back and it wasn't the best experience, but we went on one a few years ago and it was amazing. Yeah. It was, they are, when they're good, I think they're really good. Yeah. They're just, I think now, because I'm into my, so into my like energy and light and grounding and like being outside and doing all that stuff. I'm like a feral monkey nowadays. I really am.
Called being in touch with it, mate.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I just feel more and more like every morning. I'd get up early, take the dog out, and I'd walk with my bare feet every morning. And usually I go swimming, and just ordered myself. You'll like this. I just ordered myself a chest freezer.
Oh, right, okay, for the bodies?
No, kind of, for one body.
For you, you're going to...
Yeah, I'm going to fill it with water and
get
in
getting the ice bath?
Yeah. So it's going to be my... Because I used to go swimming in Hampstead Heath all year round. Yeah. And now, because they've made it so stupid now to go and do it, you have to book a week in advance. And I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, let alone a week in advance.
In a chlorine pool?
You are?
In a chlorine pool?
No, it's natural. It's the men's pond.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I've never been.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never been.
Well, that's where George Michael got caught.
Right, so that's what.
It's there, yeah. So I go there every morning.
All right, in your trunks?
In my small swimming trunks, yeah.
Is the S fall? No, I can't say that, can I? I can't say that.
So yeah, in the winter, like freezing cold at 7 a.m, I'll be there.
Okay,
but not this year.
Yeah.
But
that really is one of those each to their own things, isn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't done it. I haven't done it yet. And you keep saying to me, you've got to do this grounding thing.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet.
Dude,
I'm going to do it.
You've got a beautiful back garden. Yeah. You've got lovely grass. Get out there and just do it. Today, when you get back, just go take your shoes off and walk on your grass and just stand on your grass.
See, you do things like that. I don't. I've always been in touch with it anyway.
Yeah, but you can be in touch with it, but to get the benefits of grounding, to get the vibrations and the earthing, you need to stand
literally in contact.
But you have to stand on grass, and the benefits of, you Google it, that there's a film on it and all sorts. The benefits of grounding are unbelievable.
You told me about this last time.
Yeah,
it's like there's a film about it,
dude,
isn't it?
I'm telling you, it's a game. Right. It's a game changer.
I promise you, I'm going to look into it
for health and all of that. For you to get your health back to tip top, that is honestly one of the biggest things I would say. That
I'll
and
give
like
that a go.
2 glass bottles of wine a night, and you'll be fine.
I don't drink wine. It always looks so lovely, and I'm like, it looks lovely. I
do like a glass of red every now and then.
No, I don't like it. I like sparkling wine. I quite like a bit of fizz.
Yes, you like a bit of
expensive taste.
He likes a bit of shampoo.
Honestly, I'm always saying this. You go to an event, and I'm like, kind of grumpy and whatever. You have to drive into town or whatever. You park the car up and you go, I can't wait. Just get a couple of glasses, I'm a much nicer person after 2 glasses of champagne. I'm lovely after. I'm much nicer.
I'm going to throw a bit of something in there. You can't drive in town anymore. 15 quid.
I know, it's just gone up, hasn't it?
10 o'clock. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
That's amazing.
Thanks for the gift of
7 days a week, by the way.
Yeah, so thanks for the gift of in the coronavirus lockdown. Don't tell anyone, but just do it, and then that's a little present for us.
Did you do that? Did you get collared?
No, luckily I knew, but no, they didn't put it anywhere. They didn't advertise it, so they love it anyway.
That's another vitriolic.
Yeah. So what are you guys up to? What's the future for you guys? For you and the beautiful Linda? What are you doing?
Well, we're both coming to the twilight of our career, aren't we? So Linda's just busy. I'm 51 this year. I'm 52 this year, so I'm 51.
Snapper.
Yeah, shut up.
You're only a little bit old. You're only 6
We'll continue with the business will come back, and we'll end up doing what we do. There's a lot to be said for the old people. We all scorned upon them when we were younger because of our ignorance, but having been there and done it, I suppose it's how you spread the love, isn't it? It's how you impart your experience.
Yeah.
That kind of makes whether the young people listen or not. And again, Quincy Jones, what he did, you know, talking about hip hop and rap and how he hands down the beauty of, because when he was a kid, you know, the Count Basies and all those superstars, Satchmos and Nat King Coles and Frank Sinatra's offered their wealth of knowledge down to him. He's doing it, passing it forward. It's an amazing thing.
It's a big thing to do. It is. I mean, I really want to help, you know, youngsters more, because I was a bit of a tearaway, and I want to, you know, there's some things I'm hopefully going to be doing to help some, you know, some teenagers and stuff, but, you know, try and be a bit of a mentor or stuff like that, you know, to set up. I think it's really important.
Yeah, sort of.
You know, it's super, like, in the industry you are, there's a lot of, it's a fun industry, isn't it? I don't think I could do it. I think I'm too emotional. I think I'm too emotional. You know, I think I'd be, I think I'd have been too. I wanted to be an actor when I was young. I really did. I even tried when I used to work at Sky TV, and they were some for new, what are they called? Presenters. So they were doing interview, you know, getting some new presenters, and I went and did a little recording. I think I've got it. Did I? Of course I didn't. I was like, they wanted me to. Do you know what they wanted me to do, which I couldn't do, was smile and talk at the same time. I was like, what were you on about? Smile and talk. I didn't even like smiling. I was like, well, how can I smile and talk? And I was doing like a funny voice.
The weird thing is, you've probably smiled and talked your whole life. The problem is when
I don't like when smiling.
Of course you like smiling. You've got a smiling face anyway.
My wedding day, I said to my photographer, I was like, you've got 4 seconds from when you say, right, let's go, to the end of my smile. I can't do it. Like, I can't do a fake smile.
There is that. That's horrible.
Horrible. I was like, I'll do it. No, it's about a 4-second window. And
but nobody's good at that. You look at I mean, my missus, she's been in front of a camera her whole life.
Yeah.
She goes, you've got to take the picture quick. Yes. She said, because once the smile is dead, it's gone in your eyes. So that's why you need somebody good behind the camera, you know, making faces and pulling stuff in.
It?
Yeah,
it's like,
hard.
Yeah.
Having your picture taken is so difficult.
So
looks so easy, doesn't it? My dad gave me so much grief once when I was a kid. Where have you been? I said, I'm tired. He went, what have you been doing? I said, I've had a photo shoot. He went, photo shoot? You're tired? So I mean, around the back of the head and grief and shit and blah, blah, blah. Years later, he becomes a counsellor. He needs a headshot for his identity thing. And Linda went, I'll take your picture. So she was about half an hour. He come down. He went, oh my God, that's hard work, innit? I went, tired? After a photo shoot?
Yes. It comes back. It comes back. I tell you, you're right. That 100%. I don't think people realise, like, Bev will go and do a 2-hour show and you can say, 2 hours? You know, I've worked like 20 hours a day, you know.
That's a full day's work.
But 2 hours of her, she puts everything she's got. Not like, she doesn't just coast, she puts everything she's got into 2 hours. You know, plus getting there, plus doing all that, plus doing the meet and greet. You give so much yourself. It's exhausting, isn't it? I've got like, that's what I can do.
It's the personality.
Yeah,
right?
I've got the wrong personality.
No, you haven't.
I have for it. I'm too miserable.
You haven't.
I have, you mug.
But Bev is brilliant. I interviewed Bev on the radio, thanks to you. You sorted it. And it was immediate that you knew, this is sound. We're sorted here because she's brilliant. I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is just give her a nudge in that direction or say this, and she's got it down. Yeah, it's a gift. It's a talent. It's a real skill.
She is like the consummate professional. And I always laugh. I always joke that when she goes to, if someone asks her a question, she'll give an answer, and it's not like, you know, it's a proper answer, a well-rounded answer. So she does that. She talks. She says more words on the phone. Like, I'll ring someone up and go, look, what's going on with this thing? She'll be like a minute to get to there, because that's her words and you know, language is her thing.
But
me, I'm like, all right, you mug, what's going on?
Yeah, it's a different game.
You know,
it's not Joey on Friends.
I know.
I got you a job, Joey. They said you were no good. No, it's a different business.
I've got a confession.
Really?
I've not really watched Friends.
Oh, you're right. You really are different.
Yeah. So my mate Jason thinks I'm some kind of alien, and Bev's the same. I've watched probably 2 episodes of Friends.
Do you not get? But you're funny. You've got a sense of humour, so you must get comedy. You must understand that.
But I don't know why. I don't know why.
I'm starting to wonder why I like you.
I know. I think a lot of.
Anything?
I've been wondering myself.
I think a lot of people feel that. I think it's something.
Maybe you're just that geezer who just pulls us in, uses us for one night and then just doesn't call us. Is that you?
I used to. Sorry.
I feel violent.
Sorry for anyone I did that in the past. Again,
there's a lot of apologies today.
There is. I think it's good to get. I think it's good to get it off your chest.
Yeah, good for you, mate. Good. I'm glad this catharsis is working for you. Oh man, mate, funny old Kane.
Yeah, it is. It is. But you know what? It's a big respect to people in the game like yourself and Linda, still doing it, because it is a tough industry. And do you feel like your kids going in? Obviously, you're proud of them doing it, and they're doing really well. But is there that tinge of like?
Not at all.
No, you just.
Well, listen.
But you're like that.
This is not a rehearsal, is it? You've got dreams and you've got to follow them. They're young, and if they don't reach them, and I think they will, I'm pretty sure they're going to, because they're both beautiful people, aesthetically beautiful and incredibly talented. Their whole life. It's funny because my dad was just down with my sister over the weekend, and he said, you weren't as natural as this when you were a kid. I said, because I didn't have parents that did it. They've grown up with it all their life. They've been surrounded by it. Yeah. They look at it. They don't fear it. It's not something. It's not a hurdle.
Yeah.
They just do it. They pick stuff up and they go, well, surely I can do that because he can do it.
But do you think kids are different now as well? Kids are different because like when we were young, we were like kids. You were kids and you were out of the way. You weren't with your parents all the time.
Well, you weren't offered confidence, were you? You had to find it yourself.
Now kids are like, they're like sitting with adults, like talking like adults with like interesting things to say, and like
we were seen and not heard, weren't we?
Yeah, like people slate millennials and blah blah blah. I think they're flipping amazing. Like the way they talk to you and the way they treat you, and they're so generous and kind and loving and like
and like, open and rounded and eloquent.
I was a massive twat. I still am, as I've said, but I was a massive bellend when I was young. Like massive. I couldn't think of myself sitting with all these people going, offering all this great advice and being genuine, like, like I was a dick. And I just think,
how were you a dick? What? I mean, doing what?
I was a bellend when I was young. I just didn't.
Like what? Were you just angry all the time?
Yeah, massively. I was just angry.
So you're just fighting against the world?
Just fighting, just all the stupid stuff. I just did. And I was just non-stop. I didn't realise anything. I thought I knew everything and I didn't want to listen to anyone.
So did you go through a form of therapy to get through that, or did you find yourself and realise that you were on the wrong path?
I had to go through all the stupid, the drink, the drugs, everything.
Oh, right,
like,
so you literally did everything.
Yeah, I did. I had to go fully through that like a maniac, and then I had to get myself off all of that, and then try to educate myself because I didn't listen at school at all, didn't get any exam results, and then I started trying to educate myself through books and reading, self-help stuff, and trying to, we just had a lot of bad stuff. My dad died when I was 16. The classic stuff, one parent family, blah blah blah.
Well, the cliches for a reason, aren't they?
Yeah,
because they're
and
real.
I was just angry, and none of it kind of. All the bad things that happened, none of it really helped my mental state. And it's been, we've talked before. It's still an ongoing thing. I still I have processes a day. That's why I have routines and things, and to keep me focused and keep me calm and chilled. And that's why I got into mixed martial arts and. All of that to
focus your anger.
Yeah, to try and now it's cold water. Now it's mindfulness in the morning and all them things. Do you do any practices like that? Any mindfulness or any meditation?
Yeah, I do. It's going to sound nuts, isn't it?
No.
I've always been into spiritualism because I've always seen stuff, even since I was a kid. A lot of people say it's all nonsense, but I couldn't care less. I don't like to talk about it because everyone thinks you're a crank.
Yeah.
But but
you're not. You're one of the nicest, like most genuine, real people I know. So when you say, no, you are. And when I first met you, you were like amazing, and we had a right laugh anyway. Took the piss out of each other, which is prerequisite for any friendships for me. It has to be. You can't take the piss out of each other, then you're
I thought you were stood in the trench for the first half hour, didn't I?
What are you doing there? Oh, that's fun. Oh, that hurts. But when you talk about this, I listen to you because like you're not a out there kind of guy. So yeah, carry on with.
this is going to be the first time I'll tell this, so it's kind of going to be out there now. I'm really heavily into finding out where I can go with it and what capacity I've got, because it's always happened all my life. Things have happened. I've seen things. I hear things, and I think that might be part of that kind of drive that I've always had, of something else just going whispering in your ear. Do this, follow over there. There's somebody. I believe
you felt that as well.
I've tangibly felt it. Look at the hairs on my arms are sticking on in because it's here now. It's I've always felt it, and it's always kind of pushed me. Whoever they are, and I was aware of it. I was always aware that there was something there. There was something guiding me and pushing me. There was times when I forgot about it, and life took me in a different direction. I kind of lost my way a bit through my kind of mid-teenage years. Where you're kind of finding yourself and what have you, going through a few struggles there. So I kind of lost it there then. But then I finally came back to the path. And coronavirus, a friend of mine said, I'm going to give you a phone number for a woman. Give her a call. She's a medium. She'll sort you out. And I've gone, I've got no time for it now. I just need to get better, because I'd been messed about by a few mediums and whatever. You know what I mean?
Because you believe in it. Because
I believe in it, and I don't like the.
But there's a lot of like charlatans. I
don't like the charlatans.
Yeah,
if you're
there's a lot.
You're messing with people's lives. Yeah. You're messing with their emotions, and you shouldn't be doing.
So
that. It's the ultimate sin for me.
Is there a Susan in the room?
There's a woman in your life. No shit, Sherlock.
Darren Brown is clever on that. But anyway, that's
Darren Brown's brilliant at what he does, because that's what Darren Brown does, and his life is about debunking and about.
Reads people.
But he's incredible at it, but to decry it and say it doesn't exist, just because that's what you believe, Anyway, good luck with that, Darren.
Yeah.
So I spoke to my friend and I said to him, "Have you told this woman about me?" Because he knows that this is what I'm into, right? And he said, "No, I haven't spoken to her about your there's her number." So I phone her up after I'm home from hospital. Linda's still in hospital. And she answered the phone and she went, "Hello, Sam. I've been waiting for your call." And I went,
that freaks me.
"Okay, that's a bit weird."
Yeah.
So I said, "Did John speak to you about me?" She went, "John?" I went, "My mate John Smith." She went, "Oh, I know John. No, John hasn't mentioned you." She said, "But I knew you were going to call." So I went, "Okay, all right." Just accepted it, because I understand how this works. And she said, "How are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm just back from hospital." She said, "Well, you're calling me for healing, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm calling you for healing." She said, "Okay, who is it?" And I said, "It's my wife. She's in hospital." She said, "Okay, can I sit in her energy?" And what happened was, that night, I FaceTimed Linda, who I didn't think was going to survive. I was at probably the lowest point of my life, the scariest moment of my life.
Oh, it's made me go.
I didn't know she was going to come out of hospital alive. So I FaceTimed Linda, and she literally looked like she was going to die.
And you couldn't even be there.
They wouldn't let me in. They wouldn't let me in. They'd sent me home from hospital. Yeah, but this was very early, so they didn't know anything about it at this point.
Come on. Anyway,
James, that's how it was, mate. They wouldn't let me in. So I go home and I FaceTime Linda. Having spoken to June, she said, "This is what we'll do later." So I FaceTime Linda, and she gets 2 or 3 words out. Anyway, after that, having no conversation with Linda about what was about to do, June said to me, "I'm going to sit with Linda and we're going to send some healing." So I sit in the dark and I'm doing what I think is the right thing to do, because I've never really had any coaching in this, and I'm just sending energy, right? Just what I feel is right. And I feel June's energy with me. Anyway.
She's not there.
I'm in my house. June's in Dundee and Linda's in North London at the North Mid Hospital.
Yeah.
So immediately after, without speaking to June, I FaceTime Linda. And for the first time, she's got colour in her face for the first time in a week. And she's taken her mask off and she's smiling. And I went, "You okay?" And she said to me, "I can't stop smiling."
Yeah, that's
and
bizarre.
I said, "How do you feel?" She went,
That's bizarre.
She said, "For the first time," she said, "I feel like I'm going to get better."
That's bizarre.
And I just, so I explained to Linda what had just happened. She went, "Who have you been talking to?" I said, "This is what we've just been doing. For the last hour, we've been sending you energy." She said, "I feel like it's like someone's plugged me in, because there's like energy running through my body."
Oh man, that's freaky.
And then from that moment, Linda just got better and better and better and better. And now you can attribute that to whatever you like. It's not down to me to try and convince you that this is what happened.
Yeah.
I know that's what happened.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me any otherwise.
Yeah.
And if you want to tell me, then fine, that's yours.
Yeah.
That's not mine.
Yeah.
But I know what happened with Linda. And I know it made a difference. And I know June, with the help of the NHS, saved my wife's life.
Yeah, of course,
so I will forever be in both of their debt. But June, since then, said to me, "My God, when I came in and I asked you to do that," she said, "I'll be honest with you, I kind of do that because I need to pacify people, because, I want to make people feel like they're contributing to it." She said, 99.9 times out of 100, it's just me enabling them to feel comfortable so that to let me in and let their energy in, and for me to make them think like they're doing something. She said, but not everybody has this gift. Of course they don't. She said, but when I got in, she said, I looked at your energy and went, my God, he's got it. Shit, he's got it. Right? And I recognized it. I mean, immediately we became the best of friends. And she's now coaching me in mediumship, in the whole world of, seeing dead people. And it is changing my life. It's making me calmer. It's making me more aware. It's making me focus. Whatever it is you can find that gets you on your path. Yeah. As long as it's wholesome and right, then follow it.
So a friend of mine years ago went to see one, and he recorded it, and the woman. So my dad died when I was 16, and I was probably 20, and the woman was talking to him, asking him questions. Then all of a sudden, and this was weird because this was without anything. It was like all of a sudden was like, go away. And she went, oh, sorry. And then I heard this because he gave me the tape, and I went out in my car and was playing this tape, driving around because I just wanted to listen to it on my own. And she went, oh, God. She went, oh, and he, my mate went, what's up? She went, oh, there's someone here, and he went, oh, okay. She went, Jimmy, someone like, and my mate's Jim. My dad used to sometimes call me Jimmy, and she went, yeah, he's in a wheelchair. My dad used to have a wheelchair to get him. He could walk, but he'd have a wheelchair to get him around because he couldn't that well. And then she was like, he's quite a good-looking chap, good teeth, which he did have. So this was like, and I was like, this is random, because I don't particularly believe in it. But then when that happened, it was a bit weird. But then after that, I was a bit like, it just can't be right. I just couldn't fathom it. Yeah. And then she said something. He said something. Don't be angry, or just I'm okay, or what. You know what I mean? Just do your thing. Or,
so he was having a reading, but you were getting the messages.
Yeah, exactly. And that was what made me go, this is really weird. Because if she was setting him up, how would that suddenly just happen? So it was a weird.
Yeah, it's third party. You wouldn't have any.
It's difficult because it's not logical, and it does, doesn't make sense. It's difficult to believe stuff like that. It really is. But that was my one experience, and that was like, wow, that was freaky, and it did make me go, holy shit. But then after
it's the weirdest thing because I never impose any of it because I don't believe that that's the way you should do any of it. But everybody you speak to go, I don't believe in it. Although this weird thing happened to me one time. So everyone's got an experience. Everyone's got that gut instinct you get. It's extra sensory, isn't it?
I think anyone who writes anything off like 100% is like religion. I don't believe in God per se. I believe in like an energy humans have got, but I think if there is one, I'm not 100% sure there isn't a God. So I'm not saying that I think I'm right and there isn't. I think there's a good chance there isn't. But I'm like,
nobody is.
But then some people do 100% believe that this is true or that is true. I'm very like, well, I'm the jury's out on a lot of things.
That's indoctrination, isn't it? There's the
word
belief.
Or is it belief? People believe
no.
so much it's 100% belief in something. I wish I could have that.
Well, someone said to me recently, they said, you believe in that, don't you? I said, no, I don't believe in it. I know it. Mm-hmm. And they said, what do you mean? I went, I don't think it's there. I know it's there. Things have happened to me that are utterly unexplainable. I've given people information. Only recently I've given them information that I couldn't possibly know. I couldn't possibly know. I couldn't even conceive it. And I'm giving it to them going, and this is what I said to June. I said, I'm going through that kind of imposter syndrome where I'm thinking, oh, this is bullshit. This is bollocks. My rational brain's trying to overtake my spiritual entity. And I'm saying, and she said, just give what you get. She said, because it could be the most rich. She said she got a message one time where There was a woman came for a reading and she said, I'm just getting HP sauce. She said, I don't know why. He showed me a bottle of brown sauce. I'm sorry, I don't know if that means anything to you. And the woman fell over like a bag of shit. She was just in tears, in floods of tears. She said, when my husband was dying, whatever he was dying of, she said, if I come back, I'll show you a bottle of HP sauce. That's not fucking random, is it?
Yeah, that's not
like,
spooky.
You're picking out, there was a colour green. Oh yeah, we had a garden, but that was green. You can attribute to something. That's a bottle of fucking brown sauce.
Yeah, that is spooky. Shit like that is spooky. That's like that. I can't explain it. So I'm like, and I can't. You can't knock it because.
Well, the only explanation is for the what's the word? The non-believers or the non-knowers is they just say, I don't believe you. You're telling lies.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm telling lies. I'm not going to convince you.
Yeah.
Well, why are you trying to convince me? I'm not trying to convince anybody.
No, exactly.
You're trying to convince me it doesn't exist. I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be interesting. It'd be interesting to try it.
She's incredible.
Because I'd not give anything away, and then I'd be like, try not to say anything.
But they know that, and if you go to a good one, and it is a thing. You do get what you pay for. If you get, you go to the end of the pier and there's somebody there with a crystal ball and a cloak over their head, you're going to get taken the piss out of for a fiver. If you're going to buy a decent car, you get one that's going to run for a few years, don't you? Get what you pay for.
Yeah,
it's an incredible thing.
It's an interesting subject, and it's one that a lot of people don't talk about, but it is, fair play, mate.
It's given me great peace through all of this illness, because now I'm thinking, I don't want to leave this. There's a reason we're here. And, finding that out is part of the journey, isn't it? Because we never know.
Mate, it's such a big thing. I think, I try and make a sense of a lot of it, however tough things have been for us, we're still super lucky, super
amazingly
grateful. I part of the stuff I do, my rituals and stuff. You talk about your spirituality. Mine is more setting rituals I like to do in the morning. I write stuff down and read it out every morning, just to try and put it out there to become a better person. To do all these things, I think to have mantras and all of these things, it is important.
But it's all positive, isn't it, James?
Yeah, massively.
I mean, positivity is everything.
You have to be, and if that's the biggest thing you can try and teach kids, especially, is to be positive. Not like, I've got to be like a positive. No, not positive. A deep inner positivity that things are going to work out. Even if you're feeling a bit shit or whatever. Like, I can be a bit down sometimes, but I know deep down that somehow I'm going to get to where I want to be, or that things are going to be okay. Same with this virus and everything. It was just like, we're going to get through it, all right. We're going to. Yeah, there's a lot of bad shit happening. I've had people die. We've had things go, but we get through it and we move on, and we try to do good, and that's all we can do.
The weird thing is, the virus inadvertently is probably one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Yeah. Because it's made me stop. It's made me jump off the hamster wheel and focus, and and since then I've found all this again. And I mean, it's not like it's just come out of nowhere. It's like I said, throughout my life, I've done things that have been so odd. I could tell you things that you just go, I don't believe it. It's too nuts. It's too nuts. But it's amazing at the same time, and like you say, you don't have to be going around happy clappy and oh God, who's that tit in the corner? You don't have to be Timmy Mallet, do you?
I like Timmy Mallet.
Well, I love him as well, but you know what I'm saying. If you were Timmy Mallet 24 hours a day, you'd soon go enough now, mate.
But then people always go home and they're super unhappy as well. They sit home, if you're like on and like all the time, it's
an unrealistic expectation to think that positivity is all the time. You're gonna have a shit day. You're gonna be down, but it's the knowing that you.
It is.
I've got an innate knowledge that everything I've ever asked for, I've got. I married Linda Lusardi, for Christ's sake. Look at me.
Tell me about it, mate. You're right. The weird thing is, so far I've got everything. My life is the dream. Everything. Maybe not in the same scale yet, but I'm working on that. But everything that I've said I've wanted, it's produced, and the type of woman that I married, she's exactly the type of woman that I always said I wanted to marry. Down to every detail. Funny, I didn't know she was going to be black, but not that it even matters. I just know that's like, she didn't realise she didn't know she was going to marry a white bloke. She had no, so it's just, Mate, life
she's a
is
light,
random.
that girl of yours. She's a
bless
golden
you.
light is what she is.
Bless
When I
you.
think of her, that's what I see.
Aw.
She's incredible. She just permeates nothing but happiness and love. She's fantastic.
She does.
But she's like you, James. You know, I said this to you the first time I met you. We walked into a garden party of a mutual friend of ours. And when you're in show business, I've always kind of stood back because I don't like the whole fame thing. You know, it's something that I never really dealt well with. So I always stayed back. I understood when I had to be there because that was part of the job. But socially, I'd always be in the background. Linda's great. She walks into a room and everybody, she's like a magnet, you know, and all the filings just immediately draw towards her.
Same
and
as
Bev's
Bev.
the same.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
So we arrived before you and Bev. And I was stood there and you walked in and I clocked you straight away. Right? And then I clocked Beverly and then she walked in and everybody immediately, Beverly. And you went, oh. You know, because that's what happened. You physically went, oh, yeah. That's this is the normal routine.
Yeah.
So I just made my way over to you and hello, mate. Welcome to my world.
And this is you know, that's exactly why. That's perfect.
Oh, okay. I get
you
this.
see?
Now you just holding the coat, yeah.
See?
Yeah, I get it.
That's why I did it, because that's exactly it. And not that it's a negative, it doesn't bother me. It's just how it is. And so to finish up, I always like to finish up. So what is your, for this lifestyle, or for someone that their partner is deemed more successful or whatever, what's your advice? What is there a bit of advice that, you know, to go down if you're a man or a woman or whatever in a relationship that someone else has got the limelight? What would you say is the key to?
It's a difficult one. I was blessed with not being jealous. So I don't have a jealous bone in my body. I'd rather somebody else take the limelight, because if I've got to do it, that's what I do. If I haven't got to do it, I'm very happy not to be in it. So I was blessed with that. So if you can try and harness that of just going, that's just what they do, that's their job, you do your job. We're all made for different things. You know, if you hammer nails in a piece of wood or whatever it is you may do, that's where your limelight is. It's just manifested in a different way. Try and see it from that point of view, because they're not there because they want to be in so many cases. They're there because that's just what they do. Jealousy is only ever going to be destructive to what you know, your relationship and everything to do with it.
It's an ego thing. You just got to
take
let
yourself
that ego.
out of it.
Yeah, you have. It's weird. I didn't think I'd do very well with it. Weirdly, at first, I didn't. You know, I just didn't. But then I don't know. I just did. It was like.
Well, there's a residue that comes with it as well. There's almost like we used to. It's a great analogy. I was working on a cruise ship once and I saw this amazing comic, one of the first ships I'd done, stunning theatre, right? And I come out, I'd been on the night before, the comic was there the next night, I went and seen him, and as he walked out, I really appreciate talent. I love being turned on by talent. I love it. I never go to work when it's brilliant. I sit there and I'm a punter loving what's going on. This guy walked out, he had a tuxedo, looked $1 million, did his job, got a stand ovation. I was like, oh, fuck, brilliant. And he came out and he introduced himself to me. After his show, he got changed and whatever. Sam, let's go and have a drink. Guy from Northern Ireland. So he went, have you been bonoed yet? And I went, what? Have you not been bonoed? I went, what's bonoed? And he went, you'll know. You've got a sense of humour, I can tell. So I've gone, what's bonoed? So we're walking down. Don't forget, he's just come off stage. He's now in his civvies. This woman comes over. She went, oh my God, Adrian, you were brilliant. You were absolutely brilliant. Just saw your show. You're the funniest thing I've ever seen. And she looked at me and she went, oh, you too. I fell over.
Brilliant.
I fell over laughing. He went, you've just been bonoed.
Oh,
right?
he's
So
Don.
it's
What
that
a
thing
Don.
of like, you know, you're the superstar, but you're a superstar for 5 minutes and then you're like, oh yeah, you were okay as well. You know, and that's the plus one. It's try not to get bonoed, just get out the way. Otherwise it's just going to kill you if your ego is that way inclined.
And that's why I wanted to do this, is just to see what we're all about, you know, and I wanted to put together a little group of people that saw, you know, how does it work, how do they feel, and what are the, you know, some advice and tips. I think it, you know, hey, it might be a bit of fun for people, and you know.
Yeah, man. No, it's great, James. And if you want, I love holding their coat. I love being the official photographer.
Me too. Me too.
And if you don't like being that and it pisses you off, then sort your life out because you're a twat.
There you go, and that's it, and that's the end. Mate, listen, again, thank you so much for coming. I could honestly talk to you for hours, so
bless you, mate.
I appreciate it, buddy.
Likewise,
you're a legend. We'll...
Elbow.
All right, mate. Lovely. Thanks, mate.
Lots of love, mate.